Hello everybody and welcome back to game number 3 of the Warrior series, which is against a Paladin. Now, I have to warn you guys, this is a pretty heavy game. We gotta go fast here. We gotta go fast, especially against Paladin. I think I told you guys, right, how I dislike Paladin the most as a warrior in terms of the long game. Because your discrepancy in hero power here is very, very big. Your opponent is putting a 1-1 on the table, you're armoring up. He puts another 1-1 on the table, you're armoring up. Every armor you gain from now on no longer, freaking matters, because your opponent's gonna hit with those two 1-1s into your into your hero, which is gonna remove the armor anyway. So, after 2 turns of hero powering, your hero power now no longer does anything, and his just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So yeah, just putting that out there, why you need to kill paladins fast. It's fairly rare that you want to take a paladin to the late game, especially if you play like me. So we'll see what we can do about it. The mulligan was fairly easy. But the Mad Bomber was a rolly 2-drop. Heroic Strike is more of a mid-game card, and obviously we're not going to keep Belcher. Belcher is a 5-drop, so we get to keep a pretty decent early game minion, the Mad Bomber. He can help us out. We get another Mad Bomber, a Croc, and a Elite. I do want to point out that this is the first game that we do not have a coin, which is why you'll see that we have to play slightly off curve here. Because as I said, the weakness of this deck is turn 3. We don't have many turn 3 plays. But that's alright, we've got enough 2-drops. We can play a 2-drop on turn 2 and a 2-drop on turn 3, and then from then on, start playing on curve again. So our opponent plays a secret here. That could be either Noble Sacrifice or Avenge. Both are very possible. I opted to play the Crocodile here instead of the Mad Bomber. You might say, Shady, why don't you play the Mad Bomber now so he doesn't hit your Crocodile next turn? That makes sense, right? It does make sense, but if that secret is Noble Sacrifice, I'd much rather check it with the Crocodile than with the Mad Bomber. So, because even if the Mad Bomber ends up killing the Crocodile, the Mad Bomber would have died anyway to the secret. So now at least you give your chance. Now at least you give your Crocodile a chance to survive. I hope that makes sense. So our opponent is going to play a hero power here and coin out a second secret, which is pretty fishy. Whenever this happens, you have to think of a particular interaction. 2 secrets usually means Noble Sacrifice and Avenge. Noble Sacrifice works with Avenge. So, when the dude jumps out and says, "Get down!" Right? At that moment, it will die. You have 2 minions on the board for just a second, and the Avenge will trigger. So you no longer need 2 minions on the board to let the Avenge work. So that's something you have to instantly spot and be like, oh, the Avenge could go off this turn. So I have to be pretty careful with how I approach this, which is why we'll play the Mad Bomber first, hope to kill his 1-1, and then trigger the Noble Sacrifice, thus eliminating the easy Avenge that our opponent could get. So we shall see. Bombs away. Bomber, do something beautiful, my friend. If he ends up not hitting the Crocodile, it's absolutely amazing, but he does hit the Crocodile, but, fair is fair. We'll go and check anyways. Get rid of the Noble Sacrifice so that the Avenge is less of a threat. So I feel like we approached that situation correct. Another play, I want to point that out, right? There was another play available. You could have used your Crocodile to trigger to get down, then used your Bomber, hope it hit the Recruit, who was a 4-3 by now, and then you can execute the 4-3. But obviously that, you don't want to use your execute in that way, and there's a lot of ifs in that play. So that was a second route, but I didn't like it too much. If you end up not hitting his guy, you're in big trouble. So our opponent also has to play off curve. He plays a Knife Juggler now instead of a 3-drop, which is good for us because we played a 2-drop on turn 3. He also played a 2-drop on turn 3, so we're not falling behind. Hey, here's a play that you all know. Cork on a lead on turn 4 and 4 to the face. Not much else to say here. It's how the deck works. If you can squeeze in a little face damage here or there, that's always very good. And we have a fairly aggressive hand with the Arcanite Reaper on 5 and a Argent Commander on turn 6. So it's, wow, our opponent only hero powers on turn 4. This is very good for us. And here we have to think for just a little second. We're going to equip the Arcanite Reaper. Our mana doesn't quite allow anything else. You could also say, hey, use the bomber, hope you kill his guy, but I don't know. It's you're floating some mana. Yes, maybe you can get a Battle Rage for 2 off, but I'd much rather develop an Arcanite Reaper here because to this turn it's not going to do that much, but next turn it might, be really impactful on the board. And then it's for free next turn. Next turn we no longer have to pay for the second swing. So we can use our Arcanite Reaper to kill the 1/1, or we can use a Korkron, or we can ignore it and go full phase. I don't like to ignore it because if he has a Blessing of Kings, we give him a really easy way to kill our Korkron Elite. So here, we'll kill it with the Korkron Elite. You might say, hey Shady, isn't that bad for Consecration? You just should put your 4/3 on 2 HP. This is correct, but I see that we have Battle Rage in the hand, and I see that it could be advantageous to damage our minion for that particular reason. Plus, it's 1 extra damage to his face, so all good there, all good. Our opponent lost his coin. He used that on turn 2. Excuse me there. Okie dokie. So, Spectral Knight here. Spectral Knight, really not a good minion for us right now. I really wanted something that I could execute here so we could kill it fairly easily with perhaps a Mad Bomber, but well, even Mad Bomber would be a little bit too risky. So, there's 2 realistic plays for me here. There is Battle Rage, draw 2 cards, and then play Korkron 4 to the face. Or there is Argent Commander, well, sorry, not 4 to the face, 8 plus 5 here, 13 to the face, so quite a fun turn. So we're gonna do 13 to the face. The question is just, would you like to have a Divine Shield on one of your guys, or would you like to draw 2 cards? And here, because we lack a little bit of reach for next turn, I would personally draw 2 cards and put down the Korkron Elite, because it's not really going to change the way you're going to damage him this turn, and you might not get a Battle Rage for 2 like this, because our deck plays fairly aggressive and we don't really want to damage our own minions. So to me it seems like a decent moment. Just cash in a Battle Rage for 2, draw 2 cards, and then probably play the Korkron and just, truck him for a lot of damage. Here we go. We found another bit of our reach. We found a second Arcanite Reaper. And you can see how you can play around this Avenge so well. So by us playing well in the beginning, not allowing the Avenge to trigger that easy, we essentially said, hey, that's a nice secret you got there, Paladin. I'm just going to let you have it and ignore your minion. And he's like, what? You are such a savage. You're not supposed to ignore my secrets. Give me my Avenge, you fool. So he's going to go ahead and clear our entire board, which is not that great for us. But because we picked up the Mad Bomber, we can now play the Mad Bomber and the Arcanite Reaper on curve and put him down to low HP. Also, the Bomber might kill him if the Bomber goes 3 times phase. And you might say, Shady, don't you want to play a bit more for board control and play the Belcher instead of Arcanite Reapering him to the face? No, I like cleaning out the game nice and fast. I don't like giving my opponent more mana to work with. If you're, I don't know, you never know what they got, right? You never know if they have, heal bots galore or extra taunts, and you just want to limit their time they have to dig for answers. So here, I feel like 5 extra to the face is just the correct play. Belcher is not bad. I'm not going to say, anyone that plays Belcher here is not necessarily wrong. It's just a different playstyle that I have. I mean, I'm thinking, what could he do to prevent lethal? If he plays Guardian of Kings, I'll just play the Argent and deal 9 face and kill him anyway. If he plays a big taunt, I'll use my Argent and my Execute to kill the big taunt and deal 5 face and kill him anyway. So to me it seems like he has to really, really, really work hard to avoid lethal here. We're talking some fairly improbable combinations such as Frostwolf Grunt Healbot, all these things. I'm not even sure. Does that prevent lethal? Yeah, it does prevent lethal. So Frostwolf Grunt Healbot, but as you see, he doesn't have anything. He didn't have a taunt or a heal. So I want to really remind you of this, that we always play around a lot of cards. Well, I mean, once you've reached a certain level in the arena, right? You play around a lot of cards and be like, it might be too risky or this and that. But when you have a situation like this, where your opponent needs a very, very unlikely combination of cards, I mean, he needs to have a Noyatron or Frostwolf Grunt plus a Healbot. There's probably a couple other card combinations, which I'm sure that you will make me aware of in the comments. But as you see, like, if I don't just immediately see them, they're not going to be very common because, I've played the game a lot, seen a lot of board states, seen a lot of answers. And then, to me, it feels like you give him more chance to win by not pressuring his life total there. So keep that in mind. take good bets, take stuff with high upside, low downside, and then, you know, you're going to do well in the arena. All right, guys, that concludes our game 3. Fast game, as I said, we just smashed him in the face. But hey, that's what this deck does. So as I said, a lot of fun. This run is going to be a lot of fun. Many more of those games to come. So stay tuned, and I will see you all tomorrow.